Alright, now it's time to do the second episode for Stellaris. In the meantime, since the last one, there has been an update to 1.03 from 1.02, but looks like it's save game compatible, and I didn't see any fixes in it that really I've ever noticed anyway, so. Well, right, don't have the best running system here, so let's see what we can get done here. Hopefully something good, because it's not really the best start.
Construction complete.
I like to try to buff up your starting fleet here a little bit, because there will be some hostile ships that spawn eventually. It's a good idea to have some ships on hand.
Situation log updated.
The Gamma aliens. How did... I don't... Whatever, I don't remember going all over there, but okay, whatever. Looks like we found somebody over here. I'm not sure how you got all the way up there, and, Right, anyway. I don't seem to remember doing that, but then again, it's been like a day or so since I recorded that last episode. So maybe I did do that and just forgot. Okay. So we're making some good energy. We don't really have that much mineral income, though, which is really my primary concern.
Construction complete.
So you can see here, if you have a tile that has two types of resources, if you build a building on it, you no longer benefit from the other one. So that's something to keep in mind. Oh yes, this is a new change due to the patch. You can now design the transport fleets that your empire uses. These only come up with assault armies and for land battles, so still something kind of nice because, you know, a little bit extra stuff, never hurt.
Upgraded. Construction complete.
See, I don't really have anything to upgrade my fleet with at the moment, except for I have nuclear missiles now. Just give my ships a long-range punch.
Complete.
The Administrator for AI is done researching. The solar panel network is actually kind of nice because it's 3 entry credits. It helps offset the cost that the space ports have in the first place. But I'd rather get this fusion reactor for my ships, because this will help them have more power so I can equip them with things like shields and better weapons. Plus, those module slots on ships could be used for much more valuable things.
Updated.
A hostile ship in Ramadan. Let's see. These ones are actually hostile ships, so you don't want to fight these with your science ships anyway.
Hostile fleet detected.
There's an amoeba coming into our system.
Evading hostile fleet.
I should decide to turn your constructor ships off evasive because of this, because these amoebas won't actually attack them unless you actually happen to be near them when they spawn in, when they warp in, I mean. So you don't really need to worry about them too much. These beta aliens are. I'm going to stockpile some more minerals. I need 350, I believe it was, for colony ship. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit. Particularly for a particularly poor starting system.
Construction complete.
There we go. We've now turned this tile to 3 minerals, so this will help give us a little bit more per turn. Well, that's a bit of an issue. This is an empty tile. The pop's going to grow soon, so I'm actually going to put another mining network on it. We've actually had first contact of another alien empire from the Ubaria. Inquisitor Ludramix and the rest of the religious council bids you greetings. We provide spiritual guidance to the Uberk League, and our stated goal is to lead the great nation on the path to salvation. We'd be honored if a great species joins us on this journey. So they sound peaceful. That's pretty good. It looks like they have an Arctic world. I think it's Arctic. So don't worry about them going after any worlds I can use. So here you get a variety of choices to respond to their initial hail based upon the ethics of your trait. I don't know if this actually changes how they initially perceive you or not, but yeah, cooperation will surely benefit us all. First alien encounter. The news that we have encountered intelligent alien life for the first time is spreading like wildfire throughout the Reist Empire. Our citizens are fascinated by these beings, and the media is full of reports and speculation on their culture and society. The revelation that we are not alone in this galaxy has largely been greeted with celebration of Reista Prime. Just like us, the aliens appear to be on a relative newcomers on the galactic stage, and their level of technology is similar to our own. This is a new thing. This is just, like, again, flavor text to let you know. The little way the aliens are described will somewhat vary. If you don't have like Xenophile, I think they're called Xenos. But anyway, now that we've seen them, okay, they're our neighbors. We haven't served anything, but we can see. At least, yeah, they have Arctic preferability, so that's not too bad. Now that we've discovered them as well, we can see that they are spiritual seekers. Spiritual seekers believe that all life is connected through some higher power that can be understood through its creations. They will seek peaceful cooperation with other empires in hopes of studying the connection to the divine. See here, our opinion equals out to 0 right now. They don't like us because we're materialistic, but they like us because they're xenophiles themselves, and we're xenophiles. As you can see, when you first meet an empire, new contact, it's a little bit of a hit. But either way, we should not have any particular issue with these people liking us. And this basically kind of determines like their personality type. So this is very important to look at because it can determine if you have to worry about them being, well, a threat to you. So these Ubrikians should be pretty fine. They should probably leave us alone. And I've now built everything that Starship could build until we, well, expand. So let me try to prepare for something. I should actually get an admiral for this fleet. I have a bit of influence to spend. The leader pools you get here are fixed, I believe, until either you recruit one of them, in which case then the whole pool reshuffles, or maybe if they die of old age, because this is how old they started at age when the game begins, and they get older as they sit here in this pool. And see here, we've got gale speed on Admiral Hayashi there, which is probably actually the best one of these three. Especially because we only have corvettes. This will really help corvettes because it gives them a little bit of evasion and they're faster. Fleet logistics, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't say that word, is pretty good too, but in this early game, not that much because corvettes are very cheap. They don't cost much to upkeep. But this can be very valuable for later in the game when you're fielding much more expensive ships. Resilient is just kind of a boring but always nice choice for because they'll live longer. As you can see, the chance of dying from old age I don't think really starts to tick in until like above 72 or around there. So also Admiral Hayashi is also the best choice because she's also the youngest, so she'll live longer. So I recruit her, and she'll be in charge of the first fleet. Now, that serves. I'm actually trying to speed up the fastest, just try to get through this little waiting here, because there's not much we can really do until we basically get a colony ship going and colonize another planet, because the starting system has nothing. The baiting of the ancient mining drones. Reports of deep space drones in certain systems have been investigated. The drones appear to be the workers or custodians of an autonomous orbital mining operation established millennia ago and then soon abandoned by all but the drones themselves, judging by the state of the processing equipment. The purpose is obvious enough, mining, but who it is that tasks them is not immediately apparent. What is obvious is that no shipment of minerals has been retrieved from the system in hundreds, if not thousands of years. They'd be old drones, but they should be kept under close watch by the Varista Empire. So we can blow them up if we want to, or just issue a listening post. I don't know what blowing them up might do, if it gives you different things. I'm just going to establish a listening post. So again, we don't really have that many ships, and you really don't want to lose any of them in the early game if you can help it, because, like I said, you're not making that many minerals per turn. So even losing a single corvette is pretty much a big, huge waste of very valuable minerals when you need them to build your colony ships. So we're going to pick this option. Go to situation log, and we'll research that. Meantime, we'll also get the Delta aliens one going. I believe, I'm not sure which one that is, but we'll see in a second. It's Kind of a slow start. Don't really like that. Ah, they went to that system. They had two continental worlds that we could have maybe used. Oh, there's an alien proto-civilization. Neolithic ones. Oh, but they're on the habitable world. And this is the problem because the Stone Age primitives means with the default size of our empire, we cannot settle this planet because our xeno interference prohibits us from colonizing this world. If you look at the empire screen and go to policies, see here, I think it's under, yeah, native interference. See, we cannot go to unrestricted, which means we can't colonize any world with a basically Stone Age civilization on it because we're xenophiles. So there's no way we can actually use this world. And also, most regrettably, is there's nothing you can actually do with this. If you run into a civilization that has some level of technology, you can actually gain a benefit from it. But Stone Age primitives only have anything if you actually settle the planet, which we can't do. So regrettably, it's a pretty nice world, size 24. It's completely useless to us. Now that there was two continental worlds over here, have now kind of been stolen from us because they either settled one or they put a frontier outpost into it. So we can't get those. So there's a continental world in Algol. Now that's about the only other choice we have at the moment of what we've discovered, which is not looking too good. So we're going to stop actually surveying Akubans because I don't really care about the rest of it right now. I'm going to go to Algol and oh, that's a tiny planet too. It's a size 11. I don't really like the small planets, but so to go there, we're going to survey it. It's been disappointing to get.
Special project complete.
Ah, and here we go. We finished a special project on the mining drones. The drones are remarkably efficient at squeezing ever-diminishing returns from rocks that recent miners would have soon discarded, deemed exhausted of all worthwhile mineral content. Our top engineers are working on adopting the drone's mythology for use in the recent Empire's mine networks and stations, which should improve efficiency, effectively lessening energy expenditure. Of lesser import is the fact that drones are not completely silent, contrary to previous assumptions. They emit signal pings, though extremely infrequently, and at a wavelength hard to isolate from background noise. If anyone left to receive these pings, may be a mystery for another time. Now we know that we get access to an edict, and now we could also do this one, but I don't find that one. I mean, it's kind of nice to know where some mineral-rich planetoids are, because minerals are pretty valuable. But I would rather get this droning optimization edict unlocked for our empire. So if we go in over here, and we look at our policies, you can see you have droning optimizations, where if basically we sacrifice 5% energy credits, we gain 15% more minerals. It will cost us 1 influence a month to maintain it, but at the moment, I think I'm actually going to use this. Even if it's only an increase of 2 minerals, it's only going to cost us 1 energy credit, so I'd rather have it up. Every little bit helps, but I need to get my first colony ship out. Here's the Delta aliens. Oh, I know these ones are. Oh, we finished some research. Nanomechanics is now complete, so engineering facility. This is basically your first true tier of research building for engineering. Now that of these choices, getting the Corvette assembly shipyards is pretty nice, and getting access to a bigger spaceport is also nice. And that would take us about 4 years. But this one is well, that's gonna cost a lot of minerals we don't really have to upgrade their spaceports. So I should put that one off, particularly because our neighbor is peaceful. I shouldn't need to really worry about needing to bulk up my defenses. We get these powered exoskeletons. It gives us a small bonus to our mineral output as well. Oh, Tiamat also has a continental world in it. It's got a space beam in it though, but it looks like he's leaving. And Tiamat's actually a pretty decent sized world, actually. Let me see, is that space beam leaving this system? Actually, it looks like he's not. Crystalline entities. Reports of extraordinarily free-floating crystal-like objects observed in certain systems have been investigated. The ship-sized objects and their slightly smaller but equally crystal-like satellites at first appear inert, but sudden shifts in their orientation relative to our ships and new energy signatures emerging from within the prisms indicate they might be alive. A fascinating prospect, to be sure, but they should be approached with caution. Our best and brightest are currently standing by to seize these entities.
Situation log
And naturally, we will go and do this research.
research complete.
The Frontier Clinic is a pretty nice building. Once you get a colony going, I'll show you what it does. It's a very nice one. I prefer to get this, if I can, before my first colony, but I wouldn't delay colonizing if you already have an option before you get this. It's just something nice to have. And, Galactic Ambition is a very nice tech, because if your borders pop, it's always good. It'd probably get us like ONAB in our borders, maybe almost. But I'd rather get this genome mapping. Again, it makes our leaders live for another 10 years and regenerate more food. Since food helps population grow faster, it helps your colonies get off the ground faster. Now here you notice there's this monthly influence bonus. Understand these are kind of like gateway techs. They roughly represent a tier of research. So every research of these ones, you unlock like a new tier of researches. You can kind of consider them that, from what I understand, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So let's survey Algol, and hopefully it's a nice planet. Well, it's really tiny, so it's probably not going to be that good, but hopefully I don't think that space beam is hanging out. Oh, here we go. We finished our special project, the Crystal Entities. The Crystal Entities, the name itself, a compromise between rival factions of xenobiologists and xenogeologists on Vista Prime, are most definitely alive. Some overly conservative members of the Varistic academic elite argue that they are silicate and animate matter. They have little in common with biological life. The vast majority of the Varista Empire's populace reject that regressive perspective, instead turning their eyes towards the fascinating new horizons that crystalline entities represent. They are somewhat regrettably solitary beings, each individual crystal sovereign rarely seen with more than one sentinel and a smaller cohort entity. Aside from the cohort and sentinel clearly being subservient to the sovereign of the group, the subtle nuances of the crystal entity's social hierarchy relationships are lost on us. It does not stop these dynamics from being subject to feverish such as Varista Prime. The entities do not seem to mate, and we have yet to observe any crystals that are recognizably older or younger than others. Contrary to an early hypothesis, the shifts in hue between individual crystal entities seem to be related not to their age, but to their latent internal charge, which can be violently unleashed and appear as though a sporadic fluctuations alter the reactive properties of the crystal. Now, if you pick this one here, this will just reveal. Actually, no, not this one. This sounds nice, but unfortunately, it is an edict, meaning you need to keep an influence spent every month to have this ability. And as we're xenophiles, we can actually instead use this to get the prismatic lenses modifier, which will increase all our physics output by 10% for the entire empire, which I find much more useful. So let's see what's Algol 2, what's little moon's got. Probably not much. That's minerals, yeah, as I thought. I think it's a size 11, and it's pretty awful, actually. It's only got 5 usable tile. There's 4 different types of tile blockers on it. That's not really that great either. Now, there was an amoeba in here, but it looked like it was leaving. So we're actually going to come down here and survey Tiamat 3. As long as it's left the system, so I need to see if it's actually left. Looks like it did. It did, okay, good. As you can see, the space amoeba leaves behind an FTL trail. This actually allows you to basically chase things across the galaxy. If you have them attacked, they'll leave these behind and your fleets will be able to follow them. But I don't care the amoeba went, as long as it's not here. Oh, we actually have enough minerals. I didn't notice that almost. So let's queue up a colony ship right now. It's going to make us lose money once it's built, but we've got a decent stockpile of energy credits, so we should be okay. And here's Tiamat 3, size 20. Again, it's got a bad variety of tile blockers, but it's much more usable than Algol 3A, I'd say. So this is definitely going to be where we're going to settle first. Probably on this tile here. Even though, well, You ideally probably want to settle on a food tile to begin with, because again, you want as much food as possible, so your colony will grow faster and actually be able to be useful. In my experience, anyway. So the problem is both these tiles are kind of in bad spots where I need technology to clear out these tiles. If I settle here, I also need technology to clear out these tiles. Well, we'll worry about that once the colony ship is built. But since we'll settle in the system, let's survey the whole thing and see what we have to work with. It takes about a year, I think, to build a colony ship. So it'll take a little bit. I really wish I had a bit of a faster start. Oh, we have an anomaly in there. Small rectangular object on the surface of this planet is deflecting all scanning beams like a mirror. Our sensors are unable to determine its material composition. I wouldn't do this now because you see we have 55% chance of failure because it's a higher level than our scientist. She's only level 2, it's level 3, so she's gaining a 25% penalty. So we'll just leave it alone for now. Well, it's got a lot of minerals. Something we really need. Really wish I had a better start than this, though. This is a pretty slow start.
Anomaly found.
And another anomaly. It's level 2 of a base 50%. Science offers has found an anomaly. It will require extensive probing but could garner a substantial fine. With a 50 chance, I'm going to leave it alone. Oh, this is a very high base risk. I think if she levels up to level 3, it will help decrease that, but yeah, we'll leave that alone for now because that's a coin flip. At the start, I'm definitely not feeling lucky.
Research complete.
Oh, fusion power is complete. Oh, the power hub is a very nice upgrade because this helps just increase how much energy credits your planet produces. I generally prefer to get the most out of this power hub is you would dedicate like an entire planet to nothing but energy credit production to get the most bonus. Although getting the survey speed up would be nice. Let's actually get these level 2 power plants unlocked because we're going to need the energy credits.
System survey
Well,
complete.
TMS now fully mapped out. Again, not a whole lot in it, which is really disappointing. It's a pretty decent system, but I've definitely seen better. Just don't have a really great selection of continental worlds to begin with here. So we'll get ready to go settle Tiamat. I'm going to start looking for some other continental planets if I can.
Research complete.
Just slow the game back down to fast here, so I don't have to keep pausing all the time. Genome mapping is complete, so next let's get orbital hydroponic farms. We've now finished our first colony ship is the VIS Caledonia of the Persepolis class. So, we're going to Tiamat. You can just send the colony ship to it by clicking on it and going colonize planet, or you can just do it this way, whichever you really prefer. We're going to go settle on... these are not really the best tiles either. Oh, those will give us a little bit mineral output. So let's go here. The adjacency bonuses, while they do exist in this game, I don't think are too important, so don't worry too much about them. Also run into a new aliens in the Rhyme system. Oh, this is... I think this is another Empire's stuff, I think, actually. Actually, sure, doesn't look like one I recognize. But there's nothing really important in that system, so we're just going to go and check over here. See, we're losing quite a bit of energy credits per month now, due to the upkeep cost of the colony ships. Yeah, the colony ship costs 8 energy credits a month in maintenance. It's pretty expensive. We'll be okay though, we have enough energy credits banked to sustain that loss until then. Oh, this looks like... Yep, another alien empire over here. We'll just leave them over alone though right now. They don't have anything we want anyway. They'll probably start researching to contact us now that they've seen us come into their systems, but that saves me having to research it myself. Because that first contact works both ways. You don't have to research it, they can research you. It's an arid world, so they have an arid preference. Again, not too bad, means we don't have to compete over any worlds directly. There. The first Varista colony. Our colony ship has gently touched down at the mouth of a large river delta, one of the several continents that can be found on Nozomi. This temperate forest region will serve as an ideal first landing site. The ship has been permanently converted into administrative headquarters of the new settlement. The reactor core is in the process of being removed that may serve as the colony's temporary power source. Hundreds of small tents and prefab shelters have sprung up around the former starship's massive hull as colonists begin to disembark in large numbers. The first Rusa city on an alien world. Great day for the Research Empire. We gained 60 engineering research. As you notice, our income is still negative. It's because until a colony has finished building itself up, it still costs money. It still costs like 8 entry credits. It'll take us 13 months for it to be finished. You can speed this up through various technologies. So, it's not as bad as it sounds, particularly later in the game, but this early, we're going to hemorrhage some entry credits for a bit. But we'll be okay. We have enough banked. Not really finding a whole lot out here, though. Actually, in the meantime, since Tiamat has not been settled, we can go build an engineering, a mining station on Tiamat 4A on the moon there, and increase our mineral income just a bit more.
Research complete.
We finished some research. Okay, our power exoskeleton are finished. There we go, a little bit more entry credits per turn. Or not entry credits, I'm sorry, minerals. Now then, we can get the next tier of fusion missiles. These are stronger than nuclear missiles. But, well, it'll only take about 3 years. Not too bad, actually. And missiles are pretty powerful weapons in this game. Their downsides, they can be shot down by point defense weapons, but they're still pretty strong. I don't think the AI usually builds too many point defense systems. We also get armor. Armor is also pretty nice, but let's get these fusion missiles. Let's just kind of complement our give our corvettes another good punch. And that's a tropical world. That's not useful for us either. They've contacted us. Receiving transition from Siltaka Prime. Oh boy. Speak on behalf of the consolidated Kilt Stack nations, and I have been authorized to bring you greetings, as long as you stay out of our internal affairs and treat our great leader, Empress Ixdupt Zip that Empress with reverence. I see no reason for our diplomatic relations to sour. So they're clearly not very friendly. They're basically telling us just to leave them alone, but that's not too bad either. Well, we'll just try to be nice to them. Let's see what they are. They're also a despotic empire, but they already hate us to begin with, which is not a good sign. Why do they hate us? Because they're zealots. Evangelising zealots? Sorry, I can't say that word. Zealots speak to spread their faith across the galaxy and are not above using military might to force others to accept their beliefs. They're fanatic collectivists and spiritualists, which means, yes, they're like us through tier lists, and because they're zealots, they get a minus 100 opinion towards us to begin with. Basically, these guys are assholes, and they will probably try to kill us if they see us get weak. So it's a good thing I've been trying to beef up our military, because we might need it. As you can see, they already hate us. They already view us as a target, because we're equivalent. We're not stronger or weaker than them, but because we're also not stronger than them, they're not afraid of us. The Urberkleaf are wary of us, I guess because they don't like us building up our military might, but these guys we have to watch out for. They may go to war with us to try and, well, wipe us out from the galaxy. Oh, they've already declared a rivalry, even. Yes, they really hate us. The here being rivals has decreased their opinion by 100 more. Now, if we declare them our rivals as well, they'll hate us even more, but we will gain influence from it. And since they hate us anyway, we, well, let's go ahead and declare them our rivals as well. We declare rivalry. Cities will give us 1.5 influence each month. So we'll gain influence from this. Of course, now they really, really hate us. Because, well, let's see, I'm going to pause the game here real quick. Yeah, they're going to really hate us. So this might be a war pretty soon, actually, to show you some combat. Hopefully I don't lose. Although, honestly, I might, because my ships are not that good. Actually, I'm going to build another Corvette, just to be on the safe side here. In the early game, most of these wars are basically decided by the very first engagement, because you simply don't have the Empire size to rebuild your fleets if they're destroyed. As you can see, it takes us like 2 months to build a single ship. So if we lose our fleet, we're basically screwed. We're not going to rebuild it fast enough when they're so close to us. Whenever it gets larger, this isn't as big a concern. Simply because due to the size of your empire, you will actually have time to probably rebuild. At least build up something. But it's always best to simply just have a lot of ships in reserve if you can help it. Just because you can't afford to lose them this early. The Zeta aliens. Oh, I know what these are. Those are basically space cows. They're completely harmless. As far as I'm aware. I've never seen them do anything anyway. Wow, there's no continental worlds anywhere out here. I don't really like to go this far out. I like to generally try to settle around myself first, but we really don't have anything else. So we might as well go explore the deep reaches of space and find somewhere nice. Tundras, and there's hostiles here. Ah, these ones are actually close enough. Well, no, these are the mining drones will usually do, but we don't want to stay here because they'll probably blow up our science ship. Let's actually build a another Fox-class Corvette here. To keep my military at I'm only about half my capacity. Another alien race. This looks to be another empire, I think. Yeah, this is another empire. There is a continental world here, though. I want to go serve that. Nozomi is almost ready. Another month. Just a few more weeks, and this will finally stop draining up our engine credits. We'll go back to having an income. Ah, there we go. Nozomi is now actually fully established. You can see the colony ship has now been returned into a reassembled ship shelter. Now the downside to this is it does cause an ethics divergence. As you can see here, this basically means our species has ethics to begin with, but because of them actually having a 2.49% chance of diverging from our ethics, they can actually gain new ones, which can be bad depending. But from what I understand of reading some of the developer diaries at the moment, this isn't quite an issue because they only tend to stay within the same level. They'll, like, if you're a fanatic in any of these, they might go down to these base levels. They don't usually gain new ones except for certain events. This isn't as big a problem as it sounds right now. They're going to fix that though. You see, a reassembled ship shelter can't be upgraded to an actual administration until we have 5 pops on the planet. So it's going to take a little bit. There are ways to speed that up. You can't. I mean, you can I think you can migrate people. I've never tried doing that actually. So maybe that's an option. I don't usually mess with migration though. Also, we're really not making a lot of money. So we're actually. I'm gonna go clear this tile out, so I can put another power plant on it.
Research complete.
Orbital hydroponics is done. Ooh, wildlife. I don't think Nozomi has any. Well, it's got like 1. I don't really care to get attacked for that 1 tile. I mean, it's 2 food, which is nice. I would rather get the dense jungles right now because those are blocking 2 tiles that we could be getting a bonus from. So let's get the biolabs. I like to be able to get the basic research buildings if I can, because they really help. Let's see, each of them 3. decent planet, I guess. We'll keep it in mind. It's a little far. I don't like to spread my borders that thin. Particularly because I have FTL travel, it would take a while to reach it. Probably about a week. Maybe 2, so it was in danger, it'd be pretty hard to reinforce it. Also been about 5 years in the game already. I think these 5 have gone by a lot faster. A little bit more has been going on.
Construction complete.
Pollux also has a continental world in it, so we'll survey it as well. So we have a population of 9 on our homeworld, but now we can fit another one. And oh, this has finally happened, the birth of space piracy. Certain irrational and criminal elements of our society have left aristocrats to seek an outlaw's life at the far reaches of space. In a display of surprising ingenuity, these brigands have heavily modified and weaponized a large number of civilian starships. Our civilian shipping lanes are now being raided by this improvised Starfleet, which identifies itself as the Regulators. Proper response is needed. These non-conformants will be dealt with. Now this is pretty much random when the space pirates will spawn, but they will always eventually spawn for your empire. Every empire has a pirate problem at some point or another, which is why I recommend buffing up your fleet to begin with so you can deal with these guys pretty easily. Also, this unemployed tile, so we're going to move them there because some enter credits. Now then, they should either spawn here in Varista or Tiamat, because they basically spawn in and try to go and destroy something of yours. Because, well, they're jerks. Pollux 3 actually is a nice system, so I'm actually going to have them just survey that while we wait for the pirates to show up. So I can then kill them. Oh, but here they come. As you can see, they actually have a pretty strong fleet. 4 ships in it. Of 111 military strength. I have 7 ships. It's still a little stronger than them, so we should be okay. See, pirate names, pirates have some pretty funny names. The Juvenile Delinquent, Consequences Be Damned, Looks Like Trouble, then Near Do Well. As you can see, they're pretty strong. They've got high hull points and pretty decent armor. We don't have any armor either. Which is a bit of a shame. Our ships are pretty fragile. But they are faster and more maneuverable. So as you can see, they're warping into Tiamat right now. And yes, if you were to look, like as I'm pausing the game, you can see there is a warp portal opening, telling us that there are 4 ships incoming from Anachronos. So now we know there's a pirate base in the system. Now, they don't have to worry about this too much, because as far as I'm aware, the pirates never rebuild their fleet once you blow it up. And since we're not actually using this system, it's not a huge deal to go clear them out right away. We're going to send the first fleet to intercept. So, I'm going to send them into Tiamat. Of course, the pirate ships will get here first because they have a head start. They've already started warping. Let's set them as our attack. Pirate fleet's probably going to start going after our mining station in this sector. Yes, they're going to start attacking it. Oh, we have contact from another alien civilization, the Rolife and Hendra? Oh, I speak on behalf of the 100 Dominion. I bring you greetings. Our great leader, Empress Igzabavik, is very pleased to have made contact with a unique species, and we look forward to exchange of culture and ideals. They sound nice. Let me see if they are nice, actually. Despotic spiritual speaker. Okay, so they're just like our good old friends over here. They're gonna be pretty friendly. They don't like us because they're materialistic fools and they're fanatic spiritualists, but again, they should leave us mostly alone. And they're located all the way up there anyway, so they're far outside our borders at the moment. Anyway, these pirates are going to make a beeline for this mining station, start shooting the crap out of it. That's what they do. These mining stations don't have any defenses really either. Yeah, it's got a single master driver on it, which is basically nothing.
Station under attack.
See, it is now under attack. Our fleet is still warping in. They finally arrived. So they're going to make their way towards this Tiamat 4 mining station, hopefully before they blow it up. Mining stations are pretty beefy, so they can take quite a bit of abuse, but as you can see, it's basically defenseless. It's not gonna have any chance of staving off this pirate attack on its own. And also, let's realize our construction ship is just chilling out there because it's also under attack. So let's retreat it and get it the hell out of here. I don't want to get damaged. I should get some real combat. I'm going to slow the game down so we can actually kind of watch this. Save this mining station. Our ship's now closing in to attack. Let's see, the the Cowboy is taking a beating. It's probably not going to survive. Nope, the Cowboy is destroyed. We lost a ship. The pirate fleet is pretty beat up. You get a little bit of support fire from the mining station, but the mining station is a very weak gun, so it's not really that much. But we pretty much got this in the bag. Our admiral she's a bit better, and what she's got with gale speed helps. I usually lose about one corvette when I engage the pirates at the beginning of the game. And there we go. The last raider will now be destroyed. There we go. Send them home to get repaired. So we lost the Codwell. It's a bit of a shame, but well, just kind of how early game combat goes. The pirates, as far as where they'll roughly match your technology level. So if you don't get them to spawn for a while, their ships can be surprisingly decent, but they're always gonna be pretty weak. As long as you have about 6-7 ships, you're probably pretty okay. You could beat them with less, but you're more likely to maybe lose a ship or two. As you can see, you can't really micromanage combat at any real level. Like, you couldn't move the Catawheel out in the back and try to make it avoid taking damage, unless you broke the fleet up into separate fleets, one ship at each one, and you wanted to individually manage each fleet and tell them to initiate an emergency warp jump to get out of combat, which I guess you could do, but it's really probably more tedious than it really has to be. Now here we're actually gonna go ahead and build a power plant because we need more energy credits. Fish field modulations, we have the next tier available. Now here we go, deflectors, this is what I want. This will get us shields. Shields are of course always pretty nice to have. It's better than your ship's taking damage directly to the hull. Obviously when the ship runs out of hull points, it explodes and dies. Shields will take the first brunt of anything, and they regenerate they regenerate a bit every month. So the ship's shields will come back. Your hull can only come back by being repaired, although there are some technologies that will give you a monthly regeneration bonus to them. But it's generally easier just to send them back home and get them fixed. Actually, we're going to build a spaceport in Tiamat's orbit here. Give it, missiles? Sure. I'd like to be able to get spaceports up on most of my colonies right away. This does cause a drain of your energy credits because the stations do have an upkeep cost. I think if I click on it, the details here, you see they cost 3 energy credits to maintain, so they're kind of expensive. Let's also turn speed back up to fast. As you can see here, from this engagement, there is battle debris left over. You send your science ships here, and you'll get research points from it. In fact, if you're fighting an empire who has different technology than you, you'll actually gain potentially some of their technology from that engagement. So that's actually pretty nice. It's a way you can get access to technology you haven't gotten. It does, the debris does not hang around forever though. It does take about like 5-6 years for it to go away. So you generally have ample time as long as you have a science ship somewhere nearby. So it's not a bad idea to keep a science ship handy when you go to combat. Just keep it waiting nearby to go search the debris afterwards. As these pirates have the same technology as us, we'll just gain some free research points. See, the Tesla is on its way back. Won't be too much longer now.
Construction complete.
Governor's leveled up. All right, because we built an energy. Let's upgrade these power plants again, because we really want to have more energy credits. And get that one upgraded too. Okay, while minerals are more important, I always argue, you still want to always be making a positive energy credits when you can. So that way when you're making negative, you'll have a big stockpile to fall back on. Keep an eye out here on these guys. They're still equivalent to us? Okay. It's pretty important when you're bordering an empire who hates you to keep an eye on this relative power meter. It starts to look like they're superior to you, you're probably in a bad situation. You want to fix that as soon as possible.
Research complete.
Okay, we've got our biolabs. Dense jungles. I'm going to research this because that'll help clear up some tiles on Nozomi. Nozumi, something like that. So when your fleets are not engaged in combat, you want to keep them basically docked at a spaceport if you can, because as you can see here, their maintenance cost has decreased by 25%. And it's one of those things where you just want to save as much money as you can as these minerals, so it's a good idea to try to keep them docked somewhere. There's a particular port where your fleets are built of much larger ships, which have considerably higher maintenance costs. They can really put a drain on your economy if they're just left floating in space. Okay, team is now built. Spaceport. Now something I like to build, why I like to get them. We have orbital hydroponic farms here. Those will give +3 food to the planet, which will help it grow faster without actually using a tile on the planet's surface. You can build basic buildings only, but I prefer not to if I can help it, because once the colony reaches its first real level, you can go build the proper versions. But this frontier claim to begin with, because it also increases the habitability by 5%. Yeah, the ability on this planet by default is 80%. Only your home world starts at 100%, along with Gaia class worlds. 80% is pretty good, but that'll be 85% once that frontier clinic is finished constructing. We've got an embassy communication from the Uberk League. Okay, they want to give us an embassy. You know what? Let's give them an embassy as well. If they want to be friends, let's be friends. And that debris is now analyzed. Yeah, we actually did gain research towards armor because they had it, we didn't. And we just gained a little bit of points and everything else. Now, let's actually survey systems nearby us, because when Tiamat's borders grow big enough, we'll probably eventually get Ponel and Ruinum here inside our borders. So let's see what kind of resources we'll have to gain from that. See, right now the border on Tiamat is pretty small, just because it's not a full-fledged colony yet. And also, it's not a homeworld. Your homeworld gets like plus 100%, I think, to its borders. Yeah. The borders on your homeworld, of course, push out much more than a normal planet. You get your homeworld. Let's speed the game fastest because not a whole lot is happening right now.
Construction complete.
Finish the hydroponics farm in Nozumi, so that'll help it grow just that much faster. Actually, I almost forgot. Let me see. We have any good governors? Actually, we do. Feng Wan is pretty old, but again, he has a food bonus. Julia Cressier wouldn't be bad either, but I'm gonna get Feng Wan to govern here. I just want to get as much food as possible so this planet will grow as fast as possible. I want to get it out of those shelters and into a proper administration so we can actually be, well, more important. You can't really build much. You only can build basic buildings with the reassembled ship shelter. This blank tile also, just ahead of time, we're going to build a science lab right there. That's usually what I do with blank tiles. I just put a science lab on them. I generally try to complement the tile's natural abilities with matching buildings. 15% is not too bad actually, so let's research that. If you research an anomaly when you're surveying a system, the ship will stop what it's doing and go do the anomaly, but once it's done with the anomaly, it'll go back to survey the system, which is pretty handy. Abandoned thrusting. In the center of the particularly large crater on LM09L lies a cluster of metal shapes doubtlessly of alien origin. Science officer Fernanda Alvarez is convinced that they are massive planetoid mountable propulsion devices intended to push LM09L from its orbit for purposes and destinations unknown. The VIS Tesla is on standby. Its crew ready to begin disassembly analysis of the alleged propulsion systems with the hopes of improving our own thruster technology. We gained ion thrusters for free. I've never seen it before. That's actually pretty nice.
Research complete.
Actually, ion thrusters are pretty nice. In fact, they're so nice because I've turned off auto-generated designs. I don't know if you had this on, they would have done it by default, but See, here's what we used to the game with chemical thrusters. They just give a nice chance to evade. Ion thrusters, though, are superior in every way. They have twice as much chance to evade, and they also increase the sublight speed of the ship in the first place. As you can see, we're not making enough power to actually support this, because we're only using 2 small fission reactors. But we did get access to a fusion reactor, so we just put a fusion reactor there instead. We now make enough energy. As you see, we still have quite a few empty slots. There's no reason just to throw the reactors onto it, because it's just going to make the ship cost more, with no benefit right now. But we'll have a use for all this power later. We'll just keep calling it the Fox class, because this way we'll be able to just upgrade the existing corvettes we have with ion thrusters. And actually, I forgot we're on that. I need to actually upgrade every ship type to have ion thrusters. Which means I need to upgrade everyone's reactor a little bit here. You generally want to upgrade the thrusters of, well, all of your ships when you can, because that increases sublight speed. This means they get around the systems faster. At least that's always been my personal stance on it. No, it actually might have been cheaper actually put 2 fission reactors. What, maybe 110? No, it's the same cost. So I'm just going to actually put a fusion reactor on every ship. Oh, except for these transport ships have already the medium-sized reactors, so they're pretty beefy already. So actually, I'm going to send this specific to Nozomi's port instead to go upgrade itself, basically. Actually, no, we'll just have it hang out here in Barista. We don't need to upgrade it right away. We'll have to set the Tesla back, though, to upgrade its thrusters. In other words, we got some minerals, and that's pretty nice.
Ships upgraded.
Yeah, let's see. Fox corvettes had all been upgraded. Well, better thrusters. Which, again, really helps their evasion. Which is their primary defense at this point, because we have no armor and no shields. So let's just as well.
Ships upgraded. Construction complete. Research complete.
We finished deflectors. There we go. Here I am just upgrading now. I have to upgrade them all over again. Oh, these are all some very expensive technologies. The salvo robotics is actually pretty nice because this will give us 4 cards to pick from basically out of 3. But level 2 warp drives are actually really, really nice. This will basically double, but oh my god, it takes like 10 years to finish that research. This is kind of the downside to this way the technology works, is we've basically just been throwing a bunch of very high level cards when we have very abyssal physics research. So this is really gonna hurt our research for a while. But if I'm gonna be stuck in it for 10 years, I might look at the better warp drives. Oh boy, that really hurts though. Let's update the Fox class again, because now that we have deflectors, so if we put 3 of 2 fusion reactors, no, it's not enough. We're gonna need. Probably actually just throw a fission there instead. Yeah, let's throw a fission there. Just to give them just a little bit of shields. Not a lot, but something. Something's better than nothing. Of course, now means we have to upgrade the fleet again. You get more of our very valuable minerals, but, well, that's the price you pay. Anyway, okay, there we go. Well, it's a little over a month anyway. We've got about, let's put 1 more year. Let's go 10 years of play. I'm not going to end this episode as it is right now, for now. I really wish I had a better start than this. This is a pretty slow start, and I'm not really being able to do a whole lot for, well, that's just how randomly generated things go sometimes. Just get kind of a pretty lackluster start.
Research complete.
We've got fusion missiles, so here's all this money upgrading, and plasma thrusters, but no, let's go ahead. Oh, robotic workers are really nice. I want robots. Oh, these things are nice. If you're spiritualist, you don't get robots, usually. But as a materialist, we don't care about that. Also, since we have fusion missiles, though, we should probably again be upgrading the Fox class. Let's, give it fusion missiles instead. Because we can afford that. And now let's go spend another 50 minerals. Well, not too bad. We're getting that back in 2 months. Really want to keep our ships up to date for our latest technologies, especially due to our neighbor down here not liking us.
Research complete.
Finish the Dunce chunk removal. These alien pets are kind of useless. They have a really niche use, so I'm actually going to get these galactic ambitions to push our borders out even larger. Meantime, I should upgrade this to a biolab. How are we going over here? We're at about going on our 4th pop. A little bit more.
Ships upgraded. Construction complete.
Okay, well. There's some minerals in these systems, that's always kind of nice. And we'll go one more month. There we go. Okay, in 10 years, we've made a little bit of progress. We've finally expanded our empire by one whole planet. We've made contact with 3 different alien empires. 2 of which like us, 1 who doesn't so much like us. We've pretty much figured all the local alien life forms around us. Made a little bit of headway in mapping out the galaxy as well, which is not too bad. Although, as you can see, we've still seen basically nothing of the entire galaxy. There's a whole lot more out here to see. But for now, we'll call that an episode. It's been 10 years. We'll hopefully not have to worry about these neighbors. We may just build up a fleet and go conquer them first, so that way they don't get the jump on us. But anyway, that's all for now. And as usual, if you enjoy this, like, comment, all that stuff. Yeah, thank you.